Hi guys, welcome back to Budget Vlog. My name is VK, and in today's, it's kind of once again will be maybe a bit of a promotional um, video that I will aim to make a tutorial over the next few weeks because it's something quite big, but it's just an ultimate budget planner. In the previous tutorial, we have done the monthly budget planner, which contains tons of great information, which I think you can really use, especially if you really want to follow the budget inside and develop certain skills in terms of how to use the filter, the sort, um, how to use the spark line, so index functions, tons of material, plus it's a free template. Go get it. Go watch the video if you want to recreate this, learn something. But nevertheless, this right now, I will jump into the ultimate one that I will hopefully will be able to build from scratch very shortly. As I said, I've published recently the course. I'm trying to build around the course as well. So links will be provided below. But let's check this template and what makes this template so special and that it's worth looking, maybe getting if you want to, and eventually worthwhile kind of learning how to create very shortly. Okay, so here we are. First of all, again, this is a tutorial, but nevertheless, there are instructions how to use the template, and this is quite detailed instructions in the way that each one of the dashboards, what they do and how do they kind of communicate between each other and what essentially there are a couple of things. Number one, obviously there is a part which is where we need to build our accounts, especially when it comes to the net worth. There is a part where we build our budget. There is a transaction tracker. There is a monthly dashboard, monthly comparison dashboard, the actuals, kind of financial reporting, annual trend, smart calendar, savings, and then ultimately the debt management as well. So everything actually included into one big piece. And once again, that's something quite a big one, to be honest with you, and that's something that again it's worthwhile checking. But nevertheless, the key part is always we start with settings where we can set up again different currencies that if you want. So for example, for now, I've set up the drop down for the pounds, GBP, USD dollars, euros, yen, and then ultimately what we will do is that we can create a number of different accounts, bank accounts, because obviously right now we're living in the world of when we have everyone, most of us can have multiple bank accounts, different income, and then we can just, for example, if there is my job, my partner's income, Shopify, Etsy, you can type any business or business that you want, the date when the salary is expected, the bills, the same. I think expenses, again, so bills, debt, income, savings, a kind of recurring money inflows and outflows that happen on a specific day of the month. Therefore, we specify them when other do. And for the debt and for the assets, we want to kind of to invest and understand how our assets grow a particular period of time. Then we just have to. We don't necessarily we can invest every day. We can invest every other day. So there is no specific day for that. And for the expenses as well. So we can go to the groceries every day, every other day, as simple as that. Once this is done, it's also just important to set up your goal. For example, how much of a net worth you really want to achieve by the end of the year. And that's how ultimately the budget planner works. So we can actually specify whether we want 100K, for example, here, or we want 200 as it was before. And then in Canva, all the accounts are actually calculate the current assets and liabilities. So you can actually see this. So this is again, this is quite simple and easy to understand. And there it goes. You can see this is actually linked. So there is nothing that all you need to do is actually provide the opening balance account, opening balance for each of the accounts to make sure that this records the current position of your financial position of the specific accounts at that point. And ultimately the rest, you can see the formulas here, so you don't have to do anything. Just purely focus on the opening balance and that's it. The savings will be the same thing, so only focused on the opening balance. Debt, the same thing. So all the sources have been kind of have been as they're linked with the settings. So all the sources have been transmitted to kind of put into the account as well and the assets as well. So opening balance, and that's how easy it is. The only thing I will say that for the assets, this is something that is updated manually. So at the end of each month, you will record a position of specific assets and the growth of each asset. But everything else in terms of the debt, in terms of the savings and the accounts, everything is linked and everything is automated. Then it is moving to the budget side where there is a big, actually, obviously the income, the bills, expenses, debt, savings, everything is kind of linked. And the only thing that you need to do actually here is actually to provide these values, the expected values, how much you expect in terms of what's the salary for, for January, February, March, April, maybe in June you got a new job and you have a promotion, maybe you're now earning 10,000. So it's so easy to do, it's actually easy to change. Then the totals are automatically calculated, so therefore it's so easy to follow. And the best part, I think that's something quite important. If you following specific principles or zero-based budgeting, you can actually see the percentage of, for example, of expenses, bills, expenses, debt, savings, transfers as a percentage of the income. So you can actually see where could are you potentially overspending and where you can potentially kind of invest more money into. So it's just a nice dashboard which will tell you are you on the right track. So sometimes you do have specific budget principles such as 50, 30, and 20 you can follow, but at the same time, you may not necessarily follow this one because you've categorized once again for the bills, expenses, debt, savings, transfers, and how much is remaining, so you can actually have that instead of having needs, wants, and savings. But nevertheless, it's just one of the ways you can visualize how much money is left in your account. That's number one, after all the money outflows have been deducted. And ultimately, it's to visualize what's the percentage of the income that each of those sources of money outflows um, are, as a kind of it's just a reflection as a percentage of the income, which is again quite good, I think. Once you do this, we move. Then the idea is always been to move to the transaction tracker, where it's very easy actually to record transactions. Just double clicking on the date, again selecting the different categories of financial drivers, and then there is a multi-level drop-down menu which automatically recognize that, and ultimately you can have different accounts. You can actually go with when you set up your accounts, you can select the ones that you want actually, and this would include also the accounts again linked to the accounts tab. Therefore, this will include the current accounts. Therefore, that's something that you can set up. And then once again, you can actually link as well to the savings accounts or debt accounts or investment asset accounts. And nevertheless, you can also select the transfers, which means that if you want to transfer the money from one bank account to another bank account, which we frequently do, or occasionally do, you may do occasionally, it's once again it's very easy to do, you just need to record this as a transfer. But nevertheless, there is a lot at the back end of the model, and this is what you see is kind of at the front end, because once everything is done, it's once again that's where I think the beauty comes in, and I think that's where the monthly dashboard you can actually visualize everything in one place, and that's something that probably that's where the model stands out in terms of the really helping you out to maximize your understanding of the once again the bills of expenses of the latest stuff, including here the top latest transactions. You can see how they're done, essentially expenses month versus income, total accounts, how much you currently have in the account, financial summary, I mean subscriptions, how much you pay for subscriptions, top 15 expenses. There you go. So I think it has pretty much everything that is needed. And once again, a lot of this is actually linked here. So that's quite detailed. And once again, if you think that that's something that you will apply to or you want to learn about, so that's great because that's something quite cool. But nevertheless, by the way, I wanted just to say, so in the previous tutorial, I've very much replicated almost identical dashboard, monthly dashboard. So if you want to check how do we actually focus on the transactions and the monthly dashboard, how we combine them and link them together through the backend, because once you do the backend, once you have all data, it's so easy actually then to manipulate and create beautiful charts and actually make sure that, and all these, for example, this is all Sparkline. I teach you that as well. So don't forget about that. Check that and get the template. Ultimately, again, month comparison, so we can actually compare a different month. And by the way, the key part, the great part is actually you can use these models in the previous one for many years to come. All you need to do is actually like to change the year, and you can actually also from the drop down you can select the month here as well. So again, details, but there is a lot, and this is actually actuals are is completely automated. So this is just to reflect on the basis of the transactions, going to sort, filter, and sum everything on the basis of the transactions, and we'll kind of put in the right sources. We'll put according to the month, and then obviously we'll have the totals as well. So I think once again, this is a big model which has put some I had to put some time on it actually to grow and to develop this, but nevertheless it's something quite interesting, and I think it's worthwhile exploring. One of the best parts, I think, it's this that we call the annual trend. So it's kind of a complete reflections of what is our cash balance currently, current net worth, what it what are the annual expenses, what is our kind of income, bills, expenses, savings, debt, transfers, again, active balance for different accounts, cash accounts, once again, if we want to understand how much are we doing in terms of the cash for different, for example, Bank of America, or we have something in terms of the Wells Fargo, or we can actually have Chase GBP. Jace from JP Morgan. So everything is here actually. Let me just check whether to confirm this does work. Okay, so this does work because I was concerned, but no, it does. It does really work because the only thing I think we only have transaction for Chase, so I need to double check that. But that's surely the case. That's why we only have, um, yeah, we only have Chase. That's why it's only showing the Chase and then doesn't change this. But annual trends are looking great, and you can have a completely like really big analytics when it comes to the budgeting. Uh, I'm really out of breath right now, but nevertheless, you have something which is a smart calendar as well, so you can see just a different visualization of your recurring kind of money outflows and inflows. Once again, then just gonna put me up there. Um, Savings overview. Let's go for this one. Okay, that's a great one because that's the model which once again it links through the start, the end date, and the totals. We can get the monthly targets, how much is remaining, and then we can actually filter. So for example, here once we everything is linked to the transactions, and once because let me just put me down here, everything is linked to the transactions, and once you do this, you can actually check how much has been like the contributions log, which is again a lot of things which are happening here. Savings dashboard, yeah, all this cool, yeah, that's kind of another way to reflect. And once again, everything is actually has been out there either in the course or in the previous tutorials. By the way, I will make I really want to make an offer, and I'm gonna make an offer right now. In essence, again, self promotion, but whoever buys the course will get all ultimate templates for free. So it's something that just really want to make sure that as many people are use this. But the key part, you can get this or you can get the course, and if you get the course, everything's there for you instead of buying individual templates. Uh, Debt management, this is once again, this is where you can use the kind of enter your debt information, balance, APR, minimum payment is automatically calculated. Then you just need to make sure you have total repayment. Then you can check and then you select between avalanche and snowball, and it kind of changes and puts a different perspective how the debt management plan will be helpful to you. and to make sure you repay your debt in the fastest and most efficient way as possible with the least interest. And then all this kind of a repayment schedule is here. If you want, you can add some extras, etc. So this is it. Look, it's a big model, and I get this, and I think that's something, for example, that I really want to push and educate as well. But I need to think, oops, not like this, but I need to be careful with it because this is a lot of the backend calculations there, and how much time it will take. But nevertheless, feel free to check it out. So once again, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see what I will most likely the next tutorial will be focused actually finally on the business analytics and some business intelligence side. So we may recreate some kind of a quick dashboard to actually reflect an income statement and compare the month. So I'm thinking about this. Nevertheless, if you want, drop down any comments, anything that you like, you wanted to know a bit more, so I can focus the next videos on that without promoting the products, having the products promote, but nevertheless, do reach out if you want to build something. I can always kind of get in touch with me, and I can build something very special like this for you for your business if you want to recreate this. So once again, we are approaching, I suppose, we're nearly there in terms of the personal finance, and as I said, prefer personal finance in Google Sheets instead of the Excel. Excel, I think I prefer much more for the business, and once we dive into the business, it will be Excel and more Excel. Nevertheless, guys, everyone, I really once again grateful for your attention and time. So once again, thank you so much, and I hope to see the next one, which brings some more exciting projects that we can make in spreadsheets. So see you soon.